It was a beautiful summer day with highs in the mid 30s and sunshine aplenty. The tide out at Porteau was especially low, so I thought it would be a good day to go out and try and dive the Nakaya. First, I went out to the Grant Hall and dropped a camera on the bottom and did a few warm-up dives until I felt that my breath holds were sufficiently long that I was ready to head out to the Nakaya. The Nakaya is tricky to dive. The minimum depth is about 20 meters. There's no marker directly over the wreck, and it's rather dull brown color. Doesn't provide much contrast with the bottom next to it. Because it sits in about 30 meters of water, especially out at the bow, it's a bit dicey to dive there because if you miss the wreck, you're heading for 30 meters. But on my first drop, I was delighted to see that I'd actually come down quite close to the bow, a place that I don't get to very often. The water was crystal clear, and there was a nice school of yellowtail rockfish hanging out there. There was quite a thick rope rising up from the wreck, and this was festooned with plumose anemones, and their bright whiteness was a nice contrast with the dark depths and made it quite a convenient target to look for as one was descending. I made another drop down onto the Nakaya, and this time I came down below the rope and took a bit of video of the fish swirling around there. Next drop, I was lucky to hit that rope, and as I glided down, I swam out towards the bow, probably another 10 or 15 meters towards the bow from the rope. The cool dark green depths down at the Nakaya were certainly a relief from the 30 plus degree heat up on the surface. And here you can see a view, a selfie of me with the rope that I just showed you behind me and a bit of the wreck laid out. Final dive out on the Nakaya, I dropped down by the rope and then headed towards the stern area that I've dove many times, but was approaching it from a different angle than I usually do. My dives at the Nakaya concluded. I started to head back into the main diving area. Dropped back down on the Grant Hall and collected up my camera. Still had a bit of dive time, so I thought I'd try out the Centennial III. I already found a couple of lingcod. They seemed rather friendly, and I thought I'd see if I could try and get a selfie of them. Here you can see a beautiful little clown nudibranch. The two lingcod were incredibly cooperative. I couldn't believe they just sat there while I went from one to the other and got a couple of selfies. End of the day, kicking back into the boat launch with the muddy water stirred up by the waves. But it was just a fantastic day to be out diving.